so smart. You could solve anything. Why don't we talk more? Hey, it's Liz, and it's Monday, and that was a Sandersides reference. I'm sorry that I've just been full of them for the last 2 months, but what can I say? When I get into a new YouTuber, I get into a new YouTuber. I mean, not new, new for me. Whatever, you get the point. But today we are talking about the Ravenclaw house, so it's relevant, especially from the perspective of the fact that I am a Slytherin, and I feel like Slytherins and Ravenclaws, maybe by fault of our own and maybe by no fault of our own, we just don't talk to each other that much. As with the other 2 houses, I've got a list to make sure I don't leave anything out about the traits that are most associated with your house. Intelligence, wit, wisdom, creativity, originality, individuality, acceptance, and being academically competitive. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say you guys are really hecking smart. But smart is definitely an oversimplification. Maybe you care, like, a lot about space, and you are just going to learn everything you want to learn about space, and maybe you're the kind of Ravenclaw who doesn't really care about what's going on in school and might not have the best of grades, but you know a lot about a lot because you do research in your own time. A lot of you guys love books, which is great, and you know what? People who learn things are the most interesting people to talk to because you never run out of things to talk about. And I love being intellectually stimulated in a conversation, which always happens with Ravenclaws. I think that a lot of Slytherins probably could benefit from trying to befriend Ravenclaw personalities just because there is that bit of intellectual stimulation and not getting bored with a conversation. And I'm pretty sure that there's this general consensus that a bored Slytherin is probably not a good thing. And you know what? As a Slytherin who has been bored in their life, a bored Slytherin, not a good thing. You guys are incredible friends, as is demonstrated in the books by characters such as Luna Lovegood and Cho Chang, who are loyal friends and also are just incredible characters. Also, Ravenclaws are the best people to get in debates with because honestly, you guys are logical and rational in your argument making, while if you argue with someone who's like a Gryffindor, for example, it's very much emotionally charged and there's just no winning with that. Like, how am I supposed to have a conversation with you when you're yelling and you're expecting that yelling is going to somehow make you less wrong? It's not. And you know who gets that? Ravenclaws. You guys are curious about the world in a way that not everyone is anymore, and that goes right along with having great conversations with all of you, and just, I love you. I don't know, I remember reading my Hogwarts letter thing on old Pottermore, and it was like, so yeah, you're in Slytherin, and you've probably heard of that rivalry between yourselves and Gryffindors. That's a thing that, like, everyone knows about. But the truth of the matter is that Gryffindors and Slytherins are, like, you know, 2 sides of the same coin. The one house that you're most likely to butt heads with is probably going to be those Ravenclaws. And I was like, why? I kind of was anticipating being in Ravenclaw, so I don't know why I would want to fight any of them. And you know what? It's been a while. I still don't know why I would want to fight any of you. Except for Lockhart, which I somehow missed was a Ravenclaw. Then I was doing my research for this, and it was like Gilderoy Lockhart. And I'm like, that's gotta be fake, right? But it's not. He was a Ravenclaw. I'm sorry. We've all got bad eggs. You know? Kind of interesting that you decided to use Lockhart as an example as a bad egg when, you know, Quirrell was literally hosting Voldemort on the back of his head. Yeah, but Lockhart was Lockhart. Fair enough. If there are any misconceptions about the Ravenclaw house, it probably has to do with them thinking that they're smarter than everyone else, and frankly, if you're smarter than everyone else, it's okay to be aware of that, as long as you're not conceited about it. And to be honest, I haven't met many of you who are conceited about it, so I don't think it's a very fair judgment to pass. And obviously all of the houses, especially now that we've been sorted into our own and we're like, okay, yes, this is what I relate to the most. We look at each other and we're like, well, you know, and it's a whole different thing than just what you see in the books. Now we have our own developed opinions because we know people who identify with the houses. Look, if you are in Ravenclaw, chances are you are incredibly intelligent in some way or another, and it's not just like, oh, I'm smart and have a high IQ. No, it's like you know things, you know, just in your head there's just this database of knowledge, and that is incredible. It makes you interesting, and it makes you fun to talk to, and it means that you can, like, know random questions on game shows, which, like, let's be real, sometimes we're like, what? And then a Ravenclaw will apparate out of nowhere and be like, that's the answer, and you're like, how do you know that? And that's pretty great. I don't see a lot of Ravenclaw hate, because it's not one of the less popular houses. It's not one of the popular houses either, though. It's just like, you know, but I think that because it isn't a less popular house, sometimes maybe those of us who are in a house like Slytherin might end up tearing your house down because our house isn't, you know, and that's like how we reassure ourselves that our house is valid. But I don't think that's right. We should never tear people down to make ourselves feel good. And yes, that freaking applies to Hogwarts houses. Hi, note that this series is why the houses are awesome. All of them. And never once will a reason be you're awesome because you're better than the other houses. Period. Now, are you better at the other houses in certain things? Yeah, of course you are. We're all better than each other at something or other. That is why we are in different houses. But we're not better than each other. We're just people being happy with where we fit in the Harry Potter universe. I kind of gave honorable mentions, but I'm gonna do it again. I will once again say Luna Lovegood is an incredible example of a Ravenclaw. There is Cho Chang, who Cho went through it, you know, her boyfriend died, and she still kept going, and, like, man, Cho went through it. She was a good friend, she defended her friends until the end, and, like, then, of course, there is Professor Trelawney, who kind of comes off as a nut all of the time. She makes these crazy prophecies, and everyone is like, Sybil, what are you talking about? But it turns out that she's actually, like, on point with her theory-ness. I actually, come to think of it, there's a lot of Ravenclaws who are really underappreciated, and it's funny, because it's not Ravenclaw as a house that gets underappreciated. It's individual Ravenclaws, because they're like, are you sure? Because that does not add up. I don't think that's quite right. And yet it is quite right. If I could spend hours talking about why you guys are amazing, I totally would, because honestly, you deserve it. Every house deserves that, because I think that it's very, I don't know, I find something very important in the idea of making sure that people feel okay with where they feel they fit in when it comes to fictional universes. But as we do not have hours, I will conclude here. Anyways, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below if you have more to add, or if you are a Ravenclaw, let me know. I don't know, I'll say something to you. I'll probably say hey, or cool, or A. Hopefully not A. I'm sorry that I am a living meme. You can follow me in the links in the description box below, and check out a couple of the articles that I used as resources to make this video, and be a bro, share this video with another bro, and if you have not done so yet, subscribe, because there is one more house to go.